Welcome back to this episode of the Shooting Bricks podcast. And man, does that feel good? Does that feel good, Dre?
It definitely does. I missed that theme song, and I know all y'all listening missed it too.
Yeah. Wow, we're back. We are back.
Yeah,
It's
I
been,
missed that catchphrase too.
we're back. Or welcome back. Or whatever it was. Who knows? It's been a while. We're back. And it's been a very eventful couple months. It's been, I think, almost a year since the last time we did something like this. Maybe even more than a year. And we're gonna do something a little bit different. Typically we talk about sports news, we talk about everything that's going on in the NBA world, and we still are. Don't get me wrong, we still are. But tonight we're focusing on something a little bit more down. That's gonna hit us where it hurts, and I'm talking about this. All of a sudden, this giant debate between Steph Curry and Magic Johnson for who the greatest point guard of all time is. I mean, it's you. I'm gonna be as unbiased as possible, but gee, thoughts before we get into this conversation?
I mean, that's what the people here for. This is a debate. I'm pretty sure we got a lot of fans, a lot of basketball heads, those that are casual that got arguments from both sides, and we're presenting that product for y'all. So hopefully y'all can sound off in the chat when we post this, sound off on the comments, and let us know. We might even just do a poll to see what the shooting bricks, the brickers, I don't know what to call y'all. That probably sounds bad, but what
The
y'all think. But
Breakers.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to discuss this.
All right, man. Well, without further ado, whatever, right? Curry versus Magic. Who you got?
Um,
Come on,
you
man.
you know me. I'm a Lakers fan,
Yeah, I
so
do.
I'm a little biased here. But I'm gonna have to roll with Magic Johnson as the GOAT point guard, the greatest of all time at the point guard position. He holds that number one spot for me. What about you?
Well, I'm kind of curious. What about it? I mean, I'll get into my rationale in a little bit, but what about him? Was it his style of play? Was it obviously the accolades, which it's it speaks for itself, right? Super short career, all things considered, but the accolades in that time. I mean, is it that? Is it just his impact on the game as a whole? Like, what? Why is he the goat PG in your opinion?
Well, I believe it's a combination of a lot of the things that you just listed. The accolades, the stats. Even though I know that we like to get into arguments about stats, whenever we talk about the GOAT or positioning as far as best players of all time, whatever position they are, I like to always factor in iconic moments as well. And Magic Johnson has some that it's a fairy tale. Specifically, entering in the league and just making such a huge impact off the jump, off the rip. If for all of you that don't know, Magic Johnson, number one overall pick, 1979. Fresh out of Michigan, and leads his team with Kareem, of course, to the NBA Finals, and then without the greatest center of all time, steps into that starting center position as a point guard, and helps solidify his legacy from his rookie year by winning that Finals MVP. So that's just iconic in itself. Like that's unheard of. And I'm not basing his GOAT, legacy on just that moment, but that gives me the edge over Curry. Like it, I want to do a little comparison here. It's much like Tim Duncan. We don't talk about
Okay,
him a lot,
if
but
ever.
to make an impact off the jump, Tim Duncan was a all-star, if not all NBA player, 20 and 10 guy his first season and made an impact his first season. So just to come in, take on that weight and be able to lead the team to the promised land, very iconic. And to do it within your first season. So that's one big moment. That's one big thing. One that iconicness. Magic Johnson has that for me, and not a lot of point guards have that.
Okay, and I feel like that makes sense in the grand scheme of his entire, his entire career because it's I guess the best way to describe him, it's like Icarus, right?
Mhm.
Because he flew too close to the sun. He himself was this big ray of sunshine, but then he flew too close to the proverbial sun, and then he was gone, right? Like, not saying he, whatever, right? But there was some things that, you know, he was a larger than life superstar, and he showcased it both on and off the floor. And, if he was to have that sustainability for a long time, there would be no question about this. But because he wasn't, and Steph Curry is doing what he's doing right now at 35, I feel like he does have a case. Like, we can talk about accolades and stuff,
Absolutely.
and all that's great. But for me, I guess you talk about iconic moments. Like, if you look at every year from, let's say, starting from 2013, right? There seems to be a Curry moment that everyone remembers, right? Be it playoffs or regular season, whatever have you. In 2013, he dropped what, 54 in the Garden. Like 2013, 2014, he did that. 2015, he wins his first championship. 2016, 73 wins. 2017 wins another one. 2018 wins another one. 2018, you know, it is a thing. Like, that's kind of like the shift in his career to this more mature kind of like the Tim Duncan, where it's just like, I'm just gonna go to work every day. And yet, as even, he's 35, he's still producing those moments, right? Like, a couple years ago, he was, I think, the oldest player to drop 60 something points against the Trailblazers, like in the 2021 season, I think it was. Yeah. And then the following year, another championship, right?
Is it specifically the Trailblazers?
Yeah. Cause I remember the Dame, I think, was saying some stuff to Curry. Like, he was like saying, oh, Curry's kind of like on the downswing. It's our turn now, the Trailblazers, watch out for us. And then Curry, I think, drops 62, 60, 62, something crazy like that. And it was a time when there were no fans, and it would have been great to see that place pop in, but Chase Center, I mean, but it is what it is. And then, like I said, Curry wins the championship in 2022, and then last year at 35, he drops a 50 piece in Game 7 of a playoff game, which had never been done before until Jason Tatum, right? Beat that?
I believe so.
Yeah. So no matter how you look at it, you'll always remember Curry for doing something every year. And I think it's that longevity, irregardless of the accolades, that makes him have such a strong argument. Like, let's say Curry wins another championship in the next 5 years, right? Because he can play until he's 40, maybe 43. Would he overtake Magic, stats aside, as the greatest point guard of all time?
Curry has 4 rings, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's matching Magic. So uh I get your piece. I get your piece. Longevity definitely plays a factor. And I'm not taking away from Curry. And I feel like those are moments, but I don't feel like everything that you listed was iconic. The 73 wins, iconic for a season, yet that was a collective effort. That's not just Curry. Curry breaking the record for threes, like all time, regular season, those iconic for the season. Definitely feel it. That 50 burger, that 50 piece, definitely an iconic moment. And I started off with Magic Johnson. I just mentioned one iconic moment, rookie season. That's not to
Hmm.
mention throughout his entire career. Um, Within a decade, 5 championships, 5 championships. And not as the number two, not as the number three, numero uno. Now, Kareem, I'm not taking away from Kareem. Definitely, definitely not taking away from Kareem. But as soon as Magic got on, and we can take a look at winning time, that was his team. Showtime Lakers is because Magic Johnson came into town, and I have to say it's still a debate. Even if Curry wins the championship within 5 years from now, it's still a debate for me. But I do give that edge, longevity, definitely. If Magic Johnson was, let's not even get into all that, he probably would have never retired. But
Right.
let's talk about point guards in the sense of transforming the game. And
Okay.
I don't think LeBron James, I don't think Magic Johnson gets enough credit for transforming the game. When we look at it, we
Fair.
think about the Showtime Lakers. Look at the upbeat pace of the game. It took Magic Johnson to come into the league as the 6'9", 220 point guard, running up and down the court. We all see the GIF.
Yeah.
We see the passes to transform the game to a little bit more up tempo, to make transition basketball. Uh-oh, did I get kicked out?
No.
Oh, make transition basketball fun. Get
Okay.
out, get to the break. Let's get some dunks. Let's make it worthwhile. And I have to give credit for Magic Johnson for that. I think him and the Showtime Lakers. I'm not going to just give it all on Magic, but I believe that that is a part of being that GOAT point guard. Because look at how up tempo the game is now. Everybody wants to get on the break, but on the contrary, at the same time, you look at Stephen Curry, and he transformed the game as well with 3-point shooting. So now it's like a mixture, right? Because everybody wants to get out on the break and not necessarily always get the dunks. Now they want to get the threes. So that's also up for debate. I think Magic Johnson transformed the game. And yeah, what about you? What do you have to say in regards to how Curry transformed the game?
Definitely transformed the game. The main thing for me is that it's interesting. You mentioned transforming the game. I saw a very interesting tweet from Nick Wright, and he posted, or X, whatever you want to call it. He X'd online, whatever. I don't know. Whatever Twitter is now, whatever you do when you write something on that platform and then you post it, whatever that's called, he did that. But he posited that throughout, when was the last time Magic played? 1996, right? Because he came back. He had that little stint with the Lakers, like 32 games or whatever, right? Correct me if
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So he did that, and that's probably the last time he played. And Curry is still playing right now. Nick Wright said that there hasn't been a Magic, but there's already a Steph Curry. Hmm, really? I don't get that because there is no Magic, obviously, and there's no other Steph Curry. And you can say, oh yeah, Trey Young, Dame Lillard, whatever, but no. Like, what do you think about that thought process?
I mean, there's always going to be comparisons, right? When we look at Magic Johnson, we think there's the tale that LeBron James is more like Magic Johnson, and Luka Doncic is more like Magic Johnson, and then, like you said, Steph Curry, uh, Trey Young. I even sent you a DM with them working out together.
Yeah,
But no, there is no Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, I'm gonna just go off the basis of stats. There's nobody playmaking like Magic Johnson. Like there's nobody getting these assists like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is in another stratosphere when it comes to point guards. And I believe Curry is the same. It's different because I'm not Trey Young. Trey Young Trey Young started off better than Curry, and he plays a different game. He
because
facilitates
of
more.
Curry. Yeah,
And Curry is more of a scorer. I don't think I think Curry is a Magic Johnson is a ball dominant guard. I'm going to get the ball moving, but I'm going to finish this play. I'm going to
hmm.
set this player up so well that he should not think of passing his ball. You either going to shoot that mother sucker or you're going to lay it up, dunk it because I'm Magic Johnson. Curry, I'm going to give the ball up because I know that the ball is either going to come back to me and I could do one or two things. I could do one of three things. I could do one of five things because I'm including triple threat, pass, dribble, shoot, right? But also dribble to get to a shot or dribble to get to a pass or dribble to get to, regardless, whatever the tree is, that's what Curry's going to do. Curry's
Yeah,
going to try to find a way to score, but it's shoot first, pass second. I might make a hockey assist. When I look at Trey Young, I guess because he was shooting threes, but like 25 feet. So anybody that shoots threes beyond the 3-point line, oh, it's Curry. Kobe would shoot the shot in the trash can. When you shoot a
yeah,
three, oh, you think you Curry. So I think it's a little two different games. I could see like movements, Trey Young navigating, ball screens and whatnot. But I feel like Trey Young is more ball dominant. So I don't, with that, he's not Curry.
Yeah, and going back to the point of transforming the game, right? Like for a time there, look at the time when Magic played, and then look at the big guards that came into the league, or just big players that are able to pass, right? Like
Hmm.
first one comes to mind, Penny. Penny,
Definitely.
w- Penny was that dude. And then if you want to extend it a little bit further, not as good as of a passer, but just generally a more kind of like well-rounded player, Grant Hill, right?
Definitely.
And then you scoot on over, and then LeBron comes in 2003, and I think the comparisons of Magic and LeBron, those are probably the most apt. And then now you look at Luca, who is probably arguably maybe the most similar to Magic at this point, because what, they're big-ish guards that will look to pass it off first.
Yeah. And that's impact. And we're not even factoring in like wing players. We're factoring in wing players, but we're not even factoring in just bigs in general. That's because of Magic. Chris
Yeah,
Webber was a point forward. Lamar Odom, point forward.
Domantas
So
Sabonis
that's
by
because of
extension.
Magic. Magic is one probably the biggest factor in anybody over 6 foot, 6'1", maybe 6'3", dribbling the ball.
Okay,
Maybe not that short, but you get what I'm trying to say. I guess small forward sizes to center sizes dribbling the ball.
yeah, and
And I just wanted to note 4 years Magic Johnson didn't play basketball. If we're not counting the Olympics, 92, 3 years, he comes back, looks all out of shape, and then that
yeah,
final season before the Lakers draft the greatest Laker of all time, Mr. Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson still in 30 minutes, 32 games, averages 14 points, 6.9 assists, nice, and 5.7
nice.
rebounds. So just to see, I don't want to say what ifs, but the impact, the impact while not playing competitive basketball for 3 years and still being able to produce those kind of numbers, saying something, saying something
Yeah,
to his longevity. Um, it's saying something towards him as a player and his greatness, because if he was garbage, he would have came back and wouldn't have produced. So just wanted to
yeah,
throw that out there. Definitely
and
all around player.
yeah, and similarly, it's if it wasn't for Curry, right, this whole 3-point revolution would have never happened. Now teams are taking up more or shooting more threes. Whether that's good or bad remains to be seen. Obviously, some teams are just shooting it just to shoot it, but it's one of those situations where you have to understand that Curry, in his own right, changed the game of basketball. Right? We won't see the two towers down in the paint anymore. We're gonna see four out, one in, or five out sets now because of Stephen Curry. Like, is it fair to say that right now, if you can't shoot as a big, at least in the mid range extended, you don't have a spot in the NBA?
It's tougher. You still need those rim runners, paint protectors, rebounders. If you have to be very serviceable,
Mm-hmm.
very serviceable in another one or two areas, but
Yeah,
it's difficult. Uh,
yeah,
look at
because
Jalil Okafor.
I was looking at Robert Williams has been practicing his threes, right? Rudy Gobert,
Ugh. I
and
just
now if
saw
you,
his shot mechanics in my head. Sorry.
yeah, he was practicing. It doesn't look good, but you know what? He was making it, and let's hope he never tries that. But like, I mean, even if you look at Big Vic, right down in San Antonio, he's taken one-legged three-pointers. He has that in his toolbox, toolkit, whatever you want to call it. He can.
Ain't happening in NBA.
I mean, it's not just that, right? But the
Yeah.
fact that he's taken threes,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's most impressive. Is and before a 7'4", 7'5" big, go in the paint, dominate down low, be Sean, Sean whatever,
Sean
Sean
Bradley or
Bradley,
Yao
yeah,
Ming.
Yeah, I mean, but Yao Ming had touch. He can like
Oh yeah, definitely,
extend the floor. But
definitely.
like nowadays, it's like, all right, you have to be able to shoot as a big, and it's all because of Curry. And I don't know if we talked about this a lot. We talked
It's
about
all
transfer.
because of Curry.
Yeah, because
So Dirk Nowitzki just don't is not. He's just we erased him
okay,
from NBA history.
we can if you want to. I mean, you're a Laker fan. That's fine. But
No, I'm not. I'm not erasing him, but
shout
I
out to
mean,
him too, though.
yeah, definitely.
But no, I mean, it's what Dirk contributed and it's what Curry contributed, and it just got supercharged, right? And
I think Dirk had more of an impact on bigs wanting to shoot. I think the Suns had a foundation of what teams wanted to do. Curry took the combination of both, and boom, he made
supercharged
it.
it.
Yes, he made it more. Curry combined a lot of things. I think that's what I think. I won't say I got to give Dirk his credit. I got to give the Suns some of their credit, but I
Yeah,
feel like Curry did more iconic things with shooting. He brought together a great spot up shooter, Ray Allen. He brought being able to dribble with the ball, Allen Iverson, and also being able to just shoot from all over the court. Um,
yeah,
that's what I feel is his iconicness to shooting. And yeah, that's what I believe. But I got
okay,
to give that credit. But I'm definitely giving Curry that credit because I know Damian Lillard shooting threes from deep, but Curry, I think Curry is the one that made this hip cool.
yeah. The like I said, the 3-point revolution, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like the thing. Also, I wanted to discuss is that you know his impact, kind of like off the court, but also with the next generation, right? For better or for worse, you could see it. You could see it on Twitter, Instagram, whatever have you. All of these little kids, they do all of these curry moves, dribble moves, whatever, and then they pull from like 35 feet. That's not the best shot. Like, it's really not the best shot. It's probably one of the most horrible shots, but you can't deny that three is better than two. And because of that, little kids are starting to implement that. And more people are starting to implement that, you know, movement, spacey, kind of like really high torque kind of like, offense where it's just running, 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 and then shooting. And that's that's all Curry, I feel like. That's his impact, you know. And it's it really, at least for me ultimately, if depending on what Curry does the next 5 years, I feel like he can just probably overtake Magic at some point, but
So you're
it's
saying he hasn't taken Magic overtaken Magic Johnson yet? There.
I'm going to wait to see how his career plays out
So what?
because
I need to hear it. I need you to say it, man. Who you got? Who is the GOAT at this moment of time? Who is
at
the GOAT?
this if their careers ended right now, if Curry's career ended right now, taking everything into account, I'd say Steph. Honestly.
Okay, to each their own,
Honestly.
man. To
Honestly,
each their
because
own.
taking the outside factors like I just mentioned and everything else, right, into one condensable package. It's Curry. Like,
So
yeah,
let's take outside forces. Let's take outside stuff too, because all I've been talking about was what's been happening on the court. And let's not to mention that the all-time assist leader, not total, but average for his career, is Magic
Magic.
Johnson. Just just
Okay.
just want to say, just want to put that out there. Point guard. One will call this a point guard. Um, and bro, we not even talking about his defense. Magic Johnson was no slouch on the defensive end. I believe he averaged like 3 steals within his first 3 seasons or close to it. I think his rookie season he averaged like 3.4 steals. I got to throw the stats out there.
Yeah, I mean, in total, like their numbers are pretty comparable, right? 24.6 points per game. That's Steph. 19.5 Magic. Rebounds, obviously, Magic would get more because he's hella taller. But for your, fear thing here. It's Magic has 7.2, rebounds per game. Steph is 4.7. Assists, like you said, Magic 11.2 per game for his career. Steph 6.5. Steals, Steph is 1.6. Magic is 1.9. And then blocks per game, it's very much negligible. So it's point
Yeah.
0.4 and point 0.2 respectively between Magic and Curry.
So I mean, if it's tough, if I need to run a team, I might. I know it's a debate, but I think I'm going Magic, just to run it, just to facilitate, get everybody involved. I know that Magic is going to make sure that happens. But let's talk about the impact outside of basketball, since that's a determinant of GOAT status here. Now, before there was a Michael Jordan, there was a Magic Johnson. No, we know this. Y'all got a shout out to Winning Time. But you know that Magic Johnson got offered the Converse deal, which was $100,000 at the time, which is a lot of money in 1979. But he was the golden child for Converse. Him and that guy number 33 over there in Massachusetts. But anyways, let's talk about that. Shoe deals. I know Curry has his Under Armour thing, but Magic also had that. And let's just talk about all the business ventures that Magic Johnson has done. I don't know who's listening to this, but back in the day, there used to be a Magic Johnson's theaters. And I feel like Magic Johnson just made a lot of impact within the city, LA. You got Magic Johnson Enterprises now. And I think I know it was a hindrance to his career, but I think we wouldn't do justice to not talk about the sexual transmitted disease that he contracted, but turned that into more of a positive to be an advocate and speak on that and make a difference, not only in the world when it came to that, but also within the Black community and also within the basketball community. And he had to be that advocate. He had to be that face. So when we're talking about impact outside of basketball, Magic Johnson definitely has that impact. And I know some of it might be taboo, but he definitely made a difference. He definitely turned himself into a businessman. Shout out to Jay-Z. He's not a businessman. He is a businessman. You feel me? So everybody, Magic Johnson got to be the debate for the GOAT talk, not only because of his play and stats and accolades, which more championships. How many MVPs he got?
He's got finals or regular season?
Let's go regular season and let's go finals.
Regular season, he's got 3. Finals, he's got 3.
So he has more regular season MVPs than Steph Curry, and he has more finals MVPs than Steph Curry. He has more assists, leading the league in assists than Steph Curry. Does Steph Curry have a gold medal?
No, he has a FIBA gold
Yeah,
medal.
Magic Johnson got a gold medal. Did Magic Johnson win in '79? Did he lose to Bird? I think he
Championship?
lost. Yes, Michigan. Not '79. The college NCAA. Did he win?
I think he did, yeah. I'm not.
NCAA champion. Yep, NCAA champion. 2-time steal leader. 4-time assist leader. All rookie first team. All NBA second team. 9-time All NBA first team. 2-time All-Star Game MVP. 12-time NBA All-Star. Every year that this mother sucker was in the league, aside from the year he got injured. 3-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP. I believe that's most for a point guard, by the way. And 5-time NBA champion. So he 3 times, if you want to go about it, 3 times out of the 5, he was the best player on his team. Just look at that. Not even only at the professional level, at the collegiate level, into the professional level, into the international level, and off the court as well. Magic Johnson is the GOAT. He's a GOAT point guard.
Okay, well, in response to that, right? Curry went to Davidson, so obviously it's not the same as what Michigan.
I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear
No,
excuses that Magic is taller than him. I don't want to hear excuses about where he
well,
went.
you have to take that into
Curry
account
is
though.
I'm not. We're not okay. So at the same expense, then Magic left wasn't in the NBA. He didn't reach his full potential. He because of the HIV. I'm not gonna say that. Let's not discredit. Let's not talk about
I'm not discrediting.
Curry.
I'm
If
not discrediting.
anything,
I'm adding that as a point. That's a
it,
caveat,
it, if
right?
anything, it doesn't need to be a caveat. It needs to be an argument for his GOAT status. You watch the documentary on Apple
I
TV.
did,
He
and that's
went
what
to
I'm saying.
Davidson
Like,
with all these junkies, all these people. No offense to them, and he led them. But
yeah,
let's not
and
say
that's
like,
what I'm
oh,
saying.
he went to Davidson. Nah.
That's okay. That's what I'm trying to say, right? What I'm trying to say is that, look, Curry doesn't have the medal that Magic had. He doesn't have the experiences that Magic had because you talk about the Olympics, 1992. Okay, the greatest team of all time. Obviously, if the United States would lose that, that
Still, he
this
still got a medal.
okay. If Curry played on a team in with Kobe Bryant in 2012, right? Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Dwight Howard in his prime. All of these guys, if they joined up, would that medal be the same as the 1992 medal?
But he did it. He was worried about his ankles.
But I'm again, that's what I'm. Had he done that, right?
But he did it.
Like,
I'm not talking about what he if Magic Johnson would have not
because
gotten HIV. I'm not gonna say that. But let's
I'm
talk
just
about
saying,
what's going on.
the 1992 medal shouldn't be taken as a highly regarded like accolade because it's like
Why not?
because okay, you,
The
the team
the
average.
Warriors 2 championships with Kevin Durant should not be highly regarded because y'all
Here's
had
the
a super
thing.
team.
No, here's the thing. Because they're playing against the best of the world, and the best of the world didn't even catch up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at it, 1992, the average margin of victory was over what, like over 30 points. Because
And
and the reason for that is the game hadn't evolved yet, right? So if you're putting the best players in the world against teams, against countries that basically didn't have a proper basketball program, you're expected to win. So
okay, so
therefore,
likewise, the 2 Warriors championships with Kevin Durant should not be counted at Curry's legacy then. Because if the rest of the NBA has not caught up to a super maxed out team,
I mean, to be fair,
you're
LeBron
expected to
James did
win.
that too.
You're expected to win. But we're not having a LeBron James GOAT debate. We're
That's what
having
I'm
a
saying.
Magic Johnson and
Like,
Curry.
that's what I'm saying. If it should be that way, then okay, the two Curry championships with Kevin Durant, that honestly, that should be counted, right? That should be.
Why?
Hang
If
on.
the if we can't
Because
count
they're
the
playing
medal,
against the best players in the world already.
no, because it's
The
not
level of
including.
competition isn't that great in 1992. Who was the best player outside of Tony Kukoc that you can think
Man,
of
I,
in
out
1992?
in 1992, what was the homeboy from the Nets?
Drazen Petrovic. Okay.
Yep, there's some more
Did
people.
he
You
play in
putting me on
the
the
did he
spot.
play in the Olympics?
I'm not too sure, but at your argument, you're discrediting the 1992 gold medal. It's not a given that the U.S. is going to win. It's not a
It's
given.
100% a
It
given.
definitely is not a
But
given. Y'all went 73-9 and didn't win a championship.
because
It's
we're
not a
playing against the
given.
best players in the world.
Uh,
1992, they're playing against who? Aside from Tony Kukoc, like I said.
it,
Arvydas Sabonis.
like I said, if you're gonna go off of that argument and you
The
still got to
level
win.
of
You can
competition.
put together a team and you can't expect to win. That's why when
I
we had the
understand that.
2004 Olympics, I
Yeah,
believe,
but
was it 2004?
look at the teams that they're facing. A squad with Manu Ginobili, Luis Scola, and all of those guys, right? Those
All
guys
right.
and those there were infinitely more NBA level talent there than there was in 1992, obviously. But what I'm saying is, if
That's
you have a team with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and all of these guys, you're expected to win. That's all I'm saying.
just like the Warriors. You're expected to
But
win
the
when you
thing,
have Steph Curry. You have a full lineup of all stars. You're expected to
but
win. The
but
Boston
the
Celtics
thing is,
expected to win when they got the big three. The Miami Heat expected to win when they got their big three. the Golden State Warriors, the 73-9 Warriors get Kevin Durant, a top 5, top 3 small forward all time, is expected to win. So by those
But
accounts, if you're going
but
to discredit a gold medal on his accolades, his accomplishments, because Curry didn't participate at the Olympic level, I'm gonna discredit the 2 championships that Curry got.
if
And
it
what does
makes
that
you
do to
feel
his
better,
legacy?
go ahead. If it makes you feel better, go ahead. But you're not understanding the fact that the level of competition is so much more different. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, the level of competition is always going to change when we're looking at eras. It doesn't give
Yeah,
it an excuse. It doesn't discredit what people have done. Because if that's the case, then the level of competition for the 1970s to 80s, because it's not the same as now, we can't compare players from back then. That doesn't take away from during that time that was the best available. That's not you can't you can't discredit people for that. You can't. You can't discredit injury. You can't say, oh, because everybody was injured
yeah.
during the season, that's the only reason why you won a championship. Oh, because we went to the bubble in Orlando, that's the only reason why the Lakers won a championship. No, you can't do that. Do I?
You'd
You're
be
taking
you'd.
away from. If we're gonna go by that standard, then you have to take away something from Curry. Curry cannot be a perfect player. He can't. Oh, he
He's
has a
not the
perfect
perfect
resume.
player.
So
He's
if you're
not.
gonna take that away from Magic, you got to take something away from Curry, and that's why I
Okay.
had to take away one, or if not both them championships, if it's by that standard.
Okay. Well, regardless, it just is one of those situations where, okay, Kevin Durant just happened to join. Okay, so what?
He didn't happen to join. Y'all sought after that man.
Yeah, so did like 29 other teams.
Nah,
But
y'all had a plan,
he
man.
just like
That
Anthony
takes
Davis
away
had a
from
plan
Curry.
to go.
Yeah, definitely. But that takes away from Curry's legacy because he only got one Finals MVP.
He should
Andre
have gotten
Iguodala
two.
and Kevin Durant. Well,
In every measure of the game, I've written about this. In every measure of the game, Curry was better than Iguodala in 2015.
okay,
There's no way he
you got
shouldn't.
you got to drop that. We gotta read that. You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
let it
it's
be known.
I man, I gotta find it again. But
Yep, we gotta see. We gotta read that, man. You can't just be talking about your work and then the people want to read it.
man, I'll I'll look for it. I'll put it somewhere. But
But go to your point because this was a long winded. We diverged a little bit. We digressed.
a little bit, yeah. But all I'm saying is Curry, he has a long way to go. For me, because of what he's done off the field, off the court. Like he's what Under Armour's main dude. He's inspired millions of kids around the world. Magic did the same thing. It's recency bias, obviously, but him winning that latest championship. Because aside from him and Magic, like who else can compare? Like no one really. Like one of the things that I have up here, like who aside from those two, like who else? You think about Chris Paul and Isaiah Thomas, like Isaiah maybe has a good choice, but or good kind of like way to weave himself in there, but like at the same time, it's like no, not really. When you come to think of it, because you know, if we are discrediting two of Curry's rings, then yeah, he still would be ahead of Isaiah Thomas.
See, that's the thing. I'm not discrediting his rings. I'm not. He got it. Just he
Well, the
got them.
two
I'm
of
not
them.
discrediting the gold medal either. Um, yeah, it's tough. I think the debate is always going to be out of Curry and Magic right now, and then it's the rest figuring out that 3 to 5, the 3 to 10 spot. But I think the reason why Isaiah gets mentioned, as I'm looking, I'm pulling up his stats here. I think the reason why he gets mentioned is because he was that leader for that Detroit team when having to go against the powerhouses of the Los Angeles Lakers, the Boston Celtics, and then the up and coming Michael Jordan. So for him to get 2 championships during that time, back to back, be the leader, get a Finals MVP, be 6-1, 12-time All Star, an assist leader during the time where you're going up against the greatest point guard of all time, Magic Johnson. That's what I think he gets the nod there. But I wouldn't say Isaiah or Zeke is the GOAT. It's just if we're um, numbering them off. I know you said Chris Paul. We got to throw in Oscar Robertson in there. And I like to throw in John Stockton in there. too, because he just embodies what a point guard is, but not GOAT debate, but in those top 5 discussions, top 10, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's it's Magic, Curry, and the rest. I right now Curry, Magic, and then the rest.
Hmm.
Uh, but it's an interesting discussion. I feel like with time, like, and also the thing is too, like a lot of this discourse, it's all fun and games, but something that I'm not liking is how some people on Twitter are, like, talking about all this mess with Curry and all of these things just so they want to prop up one player, make them that player look better. You've seen the discussions, right?
What mess are we talking about? Just in case for those listening.
Yeah, so they'll say like, "Oh, Curry's trash because, like you said, the Kevin Durant championships, like all of these things, trying to lower, knock him down a peg because of the things that he's done in his career, which, you know what? I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, if we did that for every player, like, it'd be a lot different, And why not, instead of accepting that they're here and enjoying them, like LeBron, right? He's what, 39? He's gonna be out of the
Possibly.
league. Yeah, he's gonna be out of the league in maybe 3 years. Instead of like knocking him down, like, appreciate what you have, because we live in a great time of basketball. Like, this is we've seen so many. I was watching the Hall of Fame stuff, and it was Dirk, it was Dwayne Wade, Powell, Tony Parker, Becky Hammond, and Greg Popovich, right?
Hmm.
All people we've seen and watched growing up, and it's like, dang, definitely lived in the best era of basketball, because everyone that we've seen in the league right now, or that will leave the league, is probably going into Hall of Fame, right? Like Dwight Howard. That was a controversial one too.
We might have to get on a pod, another pod for that one.
Yeah, dude. Definitely, yeah. I still
Yeah,
believe he's a top 75 talent of all time. But
I agree with you.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, just appreciate Curry while he's here, just like people appreciated Magic while he was there, because you never know, right? Like, God forbid something happens to Curry, God forbid something happens to Magic, knock on wood, but like, appreciate them while they're here. And like you mentioned with Magic, all the good work that he's done, right? Like, he's the owner of the a part-time owner of the Dodgers too, right?
I think he just got partial ownership of another sports team. I don't know if it's WNBA. He's partial owner
Yeah,
of another team.
yeah,
You
he's
might
doing
gotta
great work.
fact check. Yeah, but just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I think part of the discourse when it comes to greats is the haters.
Yeah,
Uh, and when you really think about it, there's only like 1 or 2 players that I feel doesn't get much hate. Uh, and one of them is Kareem. Like, I don't think nobody hates on Kareem. When you talk about top players, it's like, okay, he's probably the best center. Like, you got to give it to him. He has
yeah, yeah.
he hit every accomplishment. But like every other player is like, oh, debatable, debatable, debatable. So like I was a late bloomer when it comes to appreciating LeBron James. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Like, I just fell into the hate LeBron because it's Kobe versus LeBron. But I've grown to appreciate players more and more, just because of love of basketball. And I think one thing that really taught us that, especially, is the Kobe Bryant situation. So shout out
Yeah,
to the Mamacitas and the Bryant family. And tomorrow is Kobe Day, birthday, and his birthday, and then the following day is Kobe Day, 8/24. So big shout out to that. Um, I don't know where I was going after that, but I felt like I had something inspirational to say. But I guess we'll save it for another time because I
yeah.
totally had a brain fart. But shout out to Kobe.
Oh, for sure.
Somehow we
Yeah.
talking about a GOAT show. I had to bring in Kobe.
No, definitely, definitely. And you know what? It's, I mean, it's weird segue, but I guess it makes sense, right? Like Kobe Day coming up and everything. Like, everyone, Magic and Curry included, have their own stories of Kobe, and just the way that he impacted them. So I feel like that's fine. It's a weird segue, but we'll make it work. But yeah, no, it's stuff like that that you kind of like understand that, just appreciate them while they're here. Curry's 35. He's going to be playing for another 5 years, maybe six, and just, he'll be the GOAT undoubtedly by then, and appreciate him while he's still here because we may have Trey Young, but it's not like we're going to enjoy watching Trey Young get all these fouls, right? Because I'm just saying,
I didn't say anything.
reaction,
I didn't
reaction.
say anything.
I'm
I did not.
just, but yeah. Anything else you wanna pull up before wrap things up here on this special episode of the Shooting Bricks podcast?
I mean, other than all y'all that's listening, I mean, be sure to, you know, like, subscribe to the YouTube page if y'all watching on the YouTube page. If you are listening to it on your favorite listening device or platform when it comes to podcasts, make sure to give us that 5-star review. Let us know what y'all like. Let us know in the comments on all our social media platforms because we will be posting this. Who do you have as the GOAT? We want to know. We want to have this discussion with y'all. So yeah. So again, like I said, don't forget to subscribe to the Shooting Bricks podcast. Leave that review on your favorite platform of choice. Just reiterating that. It really helps us out. And lastly, make sure you follow us at Podcast Bricks on Twitter and at Shooting Bricks Podcast on Instagram and the Shooting Bricks Podcast on YouTube for all the news videos of this episode of the Shooting Bricks Podcast.
Wow, you did that better than I thought you would. Wow.
Yeah, you know,
I would I would put like a round of applause here, but peek behind the
maybe
curtain. We're
next
still trying to,
episode.
yeah, we're still trying to figure things out. Uh, don't hate us, audience. We're still trying to figure things out. But yeah, with that being said, you know, we I have been Jared Castillo. You can find me at Castle of Jays on Twitter. That has been
It's your boy Jarrell Sells. You can find me at Entertainment's Paradise. Yeah, on Instagram. Be sure to go check that out.
yeah. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out everything that G just mentioned. You can see it on the screen here. And we will see you guys next time.